Hello everyone, it's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here for another Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. It's been quite a while and I'm not going to give you any excuses, but I am going to explain my position here. And if they sound like excuses, they're not. They're just how I feel. Alright, so Star Citizen has been in my life since 2013. I started doing videos back in 2013 and I was really active while we were getting all of the updates directly from CIG in the beginning, where I was able to have people like Eric and Chris Schmidt and David Haddock and David Ladyman and Ben and Sandy and so many more on the show. And there was a lot of news coming out of the Cloud Imperium games. I want to make sure I call everything right. So if I have a couple of pauses and it's so I'm being sure that I'm identifying things correctly. So there was a lot of interaction with a lot of people close to the project early on. As time went on, we threw more money at CIG. CIG gave us more vision, or they increased their idea of what the vision of the game was. Things slowed down, turmoil happened, people were fired, projects were moved around, people were moved around in what their responsibilities were, and now we have CIG being the massive corporate structure that they are. And we do get a lot of information from them. I think that their internal videos, I know some of you don't like them, but I find them usually very very informative and very well done. If there's anything that CIG knows how to do, it's they really know how to put on a show. And I don't mean like put on a show like pull the wool over our eyes. I mean, they really know how to spark interest and fanfare. And yes, it looks kind of cheesy sometimes, but they are pretty good at showing off their own stuff. Now, when I brought you answers to questions, I sometimes got more human answers than the corporate answers that we're getting now. But I find that what they're doing is giving us more info. But, and here's the big but, playing the game. Let's go back to playing the game. Now, you're watching video of me flying around for the first time in the release of 3.2. my 600i. This is not the PTU where I did that video before. So we move on to the releases of the game. For the longest time we walked around hangars. We had some fun things to do in hangars that culminated in the obstacle course for our Grey Cat buggy. And then all that was pulled away from us. The hangars were re-envisioned and we got boring hangars to run around in and glitches that haven't been fixed, because why the hell would they fix the glitches in the hangar when the hangar hasn't even been integrated into the playable universe yet? That makes sense, right? So we got modules. We got Arena Commander. We got Star Marine. And then we got the Arena Commander edition of Pirate Swarm. So Vandal Swarm, Pirate Swarm. We actually had a tutorial for a while that got taken away from us. And then we were finally given that wonderful thing called the PTU. Now my issue is that the PTU is amazing to play in because you get to see how the game is going to be. But in the end, it is not the game. It's filled with bugs. It's filled with unfinished pieces of the game. And it really is not what I signed on for. But it is what I signed on for because I do my video channel. And this is me coming out of my dungeon and saying, I understand where I'm supposed to be. And I'm coming back. I'm going to start doing my videos again. But it really did get to me for a while that I was playing in these buggy, frame rate restricted, griefing, small areas, not much to do. You know, there's a lot that you can say about it. But with each update, no matter how I felt about it, things got a little bit better. And I love this new path that CIG is on, with the iterative updates after they release a major one, and then major updates that bring content to us. It has actually sparked my love of the game again, although you won't find me playing the game too often. I'll usually go in for the first couple weeks of a patch and then kind of fall off. And the main reason for that is we're still only playing in Crusader. I know it's going to get better. I'm getting really, really bored. Really bored. Really, 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 really bored with Port Olisar and Grimhex and Levski. Levski is the bane of my existence. Levski is where I find the most problems in the game right now, which is there's a lot of people in one small space and there's not enough spaces to park. Ugh. Anyway, I love the game. I think it's wonderful. And I guess I'm going to just move on from there. Here is something that was going on. All right, so let me tell you what's going on here. I was griefed, and that's okay. Griefing is going to exist, and it's going to exist in the game no matter what we do. And how we as a community handle it is going to dictate where CIG goes with that. Now, my ship was totally destroyed. I had engines out, I had thrusters out, and that was because some person that loves the game and has taken to calling themselves a pirate, I guess, saw that I was filled with gold. I filled my hull with gold, and he decided to take his Avenger Stalker and start ripping panels off my ship and destroying me. And I don't know what happened to let me get away, but I was actually able to get away. And this thing is so slow, I couldn't maneuver it to even fire on him once. He was a good pilot. I didn't get his name, though. That was really bad. I'm not upset. I was frustrated with the game, not with the person, but I was the idiot for putting all 24K into my cargo. And then I tried to land it, and with only a couple of my maneuvering thrusters working, oh God, it didn't work. I wound up landing upside down. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. Today, I want to talk a little bit about ship design. And for that, I'm going to pause here for just one moment. And suddenly, we're walking into the hangar and walking into the Aegis Dynamics Eclipse. Yes, the Eclipse. Alright, so the Eclipse, which in my estimation is almost a dead ringer for what some of the concepts for the B-21 Raider are, but that's okay. You know, great minds think alike, and I love the idea of diversity in ship design. Diversity in ship design is amazing, and I think that's great. But dedicated jobs for ships, like this one is a torpedo bomber. It's mainly an attack spacecraft. And it costs hundreds of dollars in real money. So let's talk about that for just one moment. We spent a lot of money on different ships in Star Citizen. Much of it on ships that we absolutely love. Now, I bought the Prospector when it first came out. And like an idiot, because I call myself an idiot a lot when it comes to Star Citizen, I melted it the minute they showed off that beautiful, sexy, hot, incredibly gorgeous, and not out yet and probably not for 2 years, RSI Polaris. So I burnt or melted my Prospector for a Polaris. And I don't have it anymore. But I got to play with the Prospector a little bit in the beta, which you will not see here. What you're going to see here is the beautiful Eclipse, because it is going to pretty much make my point also. Having dedicated ships is amazing. It's a great idea. But charging multi-$100 units for ships has to stop. Because if Chris wants true diversity in the game, he's selling us ships for hundreds of dollars that we're not going to use that often. When I look at not a competitor to Star Citizen because it's not a competitor. It's another game genre to me. When I look over at Elite Dangerous, and yes, I'm going to compare the two games because I like the two games. I like to play multiple games. When I look over at Elite Dangerous, the multi-purpose ships, specifically the Python, are the most popular. And why is that? It's because you can get a ship that you love, like, are infatuated with, obsessed with, whatever it is, and use it for many different types of missions. Whether it be mining, cargo running, interdiction, or combat, the Python in Elite Dangerous is pretty decent at all of those. My prediction for Star Citizen is ships like the Constellation, the brand new Origin 600, the Freelancer, and whatever other ship falls into that multi-role category are going to be the most popular over time, because you can get a lot done in one ship. Now, Chris sees the diversity, and so do I, as being important, the diversity of ships in the game, so people can make their own story inside the Star Citizen universe. You can be a raider, you can be, well, let's call it a pirate, okay? You can be a pirate, you can be a mercenary, you can be a bounty hunter, you could be a lawful agent and hopefully work for the advocacy. You can be a cargo hauler. You could be an explorer, a salvager, and we can go on, a miner. And there are ships specific to that. But for most of the people that want to do multiple different things in the game, having a huge fleet may not be up their aisle, right? It might not be up their aisle. Anyway, I think that things are going to get a little bit more difficult over time because we're going to be asking people to do things in ships that they might not be suited for. And that's why I advocate more multi-role ships. Ships like this. So let's look at the torpedo bombers that we have now. And they're very specific, right? We have a cap ship torpedo bomber, something to take out cap ships and a little bit smaller. That's a Polaris, right? Then we have the Retaliator, which they call a dive bomber and torpedo bomber. I would say that takes out medium ships and other ships of the line that aren't so big. So we're looking at maybe destroyers, right, that it could take out, and frigates. Then we have this. This is the Eclipse, and we have the Gladiator, which is making its way out. They have very specific roles, and I believe that buying these ships might just lead to you having an object that you have paid hundreds of dollars for that becomes nothing more than hangar candy. Because without knowing where we're going in the game, how often do you think you'll be able to engage in cap ship hunting? Well, I think the Polaris is going to be more of a multi-role ship in the end. But something like this and the Retaliator, multi-role. They told us that it was going to be. There's dropship quarters in it. There are torpedo bays, but also cargo bays, and also an apartment. So these multi-role ships that we have, these multi-purpose ships that we have, are amazing. But these ships that are dedicated to specific tasks, like this Eclipse or the oh god, I gotta think of them. The Vulcan, the Vulture, and the Prospector are all the tier 1 in those. Let's see, Vulcan will be ship repair, Vulture will be salvage, and the Prospector will be mining. So they're all going to be the basic ships for those different professions. I think they're going to get used and then tossed aside. So for those of you that spent $140 on one of these ships or more, how do you feel about it? I mean, that's a good question, right? Why can't they give my Constellation the ability to mine. It's a multi-role vessel. Maybe that's something it will do. Or my Freelancer. Again, another multi-role vessel. Can it do it? Now, I don't know how many people are going to buy that beautiful, all-white, gorgeous, what are we calling it? The 600i? And try to go out and mine with it. But should you be able to? That's a good question. So is diversity hurting the game? No. But is it as necessary as they're making it with all these extra ships that we have to buy that you might only use occasionally? It's a good question, right? I wonder. Anyway, 3.2 is out, and it is kind of fun. I played for at least 4 hours over the last 2 days. Sorry about the noise. Batcat's been knocking over things trying to get into my lap the whole time I've been talking. I'm very excited about where 3.2 is, but honestly, 3.2 will probably be played only a couple of hours a week by me, if that at all. My big wait for is 3.3. When we can fly to Hurston, when we can do more than we're doing right now, when we can see new places that we can land in, new shops that we can go to, new stations that we can go to, it'll actually breathe new life into the game. Over the next 24 months, I feel that Star Citizen is really going to come into its own. It's proven, well, I should say RSI, Foundry 42, Robert Space Industries, I said that already, Cloud Imperium Games, have proven that they're really here for us. And I can't wait to see what the next 24 months brings. Hopefully the next 24 months brings us exponentially more that we can do in the game. But if it just brings us 3 more planets or maybe a second star system, I'll be happy. And I'm happy waiting for the best damn space simulator ever. Remember to click the thumbs up button if you like this. If you don't and you do click the thumbs down button, please post something constructive that I can work on to make it better. If you are a subscriber, be sure to click the notification button so you get notified of all my new videos. And if you want to help just a little bit more, please think about becoming a patron. For just as little as $1 a month, you can help the channel grow, help me get new equipment, and help me get my butt back on here doing videos every day. And you can do that over at Patreon, patreon.com/Batgirl. And with that said, thank you very much for all your wonderful comments, for all your wonderful suggestions, and for watching and listening to me for the last 5 years. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I will talk to you soon.